How do I find the volume of a pyramid?
Oh, I got it right. Well, because it's on the answer. How do I find the volume of a pyramid?
While you write down your central question, I'm going to draw a little shape out to the side here. It's what we call a prism, a rectangular prism. We've seen these before. They're things that are shaped like boxes. This is not my best. Close enough. So on the left here, I've drawn a rectangular prism, which you'll notice is different than a rectangular pyramid because pyramids come to a point, whereas prisms... Okay, so prisms, rectangular prisms are shaped like boxes. Pyramids come to a point. The volume of a rectangular prism we've talked about before is the area of the base, which is a big B, times the height. Or we also talked about length times width times height. So those are the two ways we've talked about it: area of the base times the height, or the volume of a box is length times width times height. So if we're talking about a rectangular pyramid, it's going to be 1/3 of the area of the base times the height. What's that seem similar to that we talked about so far? Yes, but like what shape specifically does this formula look a lot like? Could someone raise your hand and tell me what it looks like? Juwan? Yeah. It's actually the exact same formula, but your area of the base is going to be a little bit different because it's a rectangle and not a circle. So I'm going to show you a little video. Volume equals 1/3 the length times the width times the height. You can put the multiplication signs in between those, or you could not, and you could leave it as LWH because that just means multiplication. It's 1/3 the volume of a rectangular prism. Because we've done length times width times height like a million times, right, guys? Yeah, I hope you know that now. Okay, this is not bad. Find the volume of the pyramid, round your answer to the nearest tenth. I'm looking at this right now. I'm going to make 13 my length, 6 my width, and then up and down, that has to be the height. So length, width, height, label that on your pyramid. Just like every other problem we've done, you need to write down the formula first. 1/3 times the length times the width times the height. So the only thing that changes in this is the letters change to the numbers we know. Xavier, what's the length? 13. Yep, so 1/3 times 13. Kanan, what's the width? 6. Kanan, what's the width? Yeah. And then George, what's the height? Okay, so you're just going to type this all in your calculator. 1/3 times 13 times 6 times 14. Type it. Volume is 364, right? Centimeters cubed. Cubed. Because we're talking about cubic units. How many little cubes can fit inside of that shape? Dang it, guys. I've been making a lot of mistakes today. 364, excuse me. The Pyramid of Giza has a volume of 126,000 cubic meters. So the first thing we should do is write down the formula we're going to use. Or maybe we could draw a picture since we don't have one. I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture. It's not going to be a very good pyramid. because that's not really my forte. That's the best I can do. Okay, so we know we have a pyramid. That's what they look like. We're using this pyramid formula, 1/3 the length times the width times the height. That's how we find the volume of a rectangular pyramid, because it's 1/3 of a rectangular prism. So here's my height, and I put a little right angle at the bottom. It says the bottom is a square and one of the side lengths is 120 meters. So both sides right here are 120 because it says the bottom's a square. 120, 120. The question we're being asked is, what is the height of the pyramid? So you don't know that. We're going to solve for it. But you do know the volume is 126, so maybe let's put an arrow pointing to the inside. Not the height, but the volume is this big number, meters cubed. Put all those into our formula. The volume is 126,000. So let's replace that where V is, because it's the volume. 1/3 stays. Alice, what should I put in for my length?
120.
Yep, 100 times 120. Riley, what should I put in for my width?
120.
And Sebastian, what should I put for my height?
H.
Thank you. Yeah, you don't know what the height is, so leave it as H. We're going to solve for H. Right now, 1/3 is being multiplied times 120 and 120. So before I could do this in pieces. I could divide each number away. But this one is actually kind of easy to simplify first. Could someone raise your hand and tell me what I could simplify before I start dividing things away?
120 times 120.
Could you raise your hand and tell me what I could simplify before I divide it away? I could multiply these. That'd be easy. So let's go and do that. So I'm going to rewrite it down here. So we still have 1/3. We still have, so we're going to multiply these two things. 120 times 120. What is it, William?
14,400.
Okay. Is this right? Okay. Times the height. So just like we've done before, so when we're solving equations, we use the inverse. So we are going to solve the equation. 1/3 is being multiplied. So Olivia, how do I get rid of it? So divide this side by 1/3.
Oh my God.
So we're going to divide by 1/3. That would take it away over here. So in your calculator, you have to do 126,000 divided by 1/3. Make sure you put 1/3 in parentheses. Follow directions, and he typed it in. You get 378,000 equals 14,400 times H. Bella, what's the last thing I got to get rid of? Way, do the opposite, the inverse. Divide by that. We did this like a million times during those 6 weeks of solving equations. Goodbye, 14,400. And you end up with a pretty nice number. 26.25 meters is the height. It's not meters cubed because it's not a volume, it's a side length, it's a height. And I don't say that I am 5'8" feet cubed tall. I just say that I'm 5'8" feet.